regardless, we have the amazing, the super talented Mary Gibbs here, who a lot of people, they're like, I grew up on Disney. Very few people can say they grew up as a Disney character, living the Disney world, the Disney life. But Mary was not even 3 years old when she was actually Boo in Monsters Inc., running around as a toddler being recorded for this film. Yeah, you might have heard of it. Yeah, Monsters Inc. But we're really lucky and privileged to have her here today. Thank you for joining us, Mary.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. Definitely. And that was a good way of putting it. So many people grow up. Sorry, my dog's going off in the background. So many people grow up in Disney, but yeah, I definitely grew up in Disney. Like, it's pretty surreal. Maple.
I was researching this a bit because a lot of people say, well, what is Boo's real name? And if you look at the drawings, which you did, that are in the film, you actually drew those drawings and they say Mary Gibbs. So the theory, not only the theory, but everyone says the character's real name is Mary Gibbs, not Boo. Boo is the nickname.
Yeah, so, and there's actually so before I came around, and Boo was actually supposed to be a 12-year-old girl. She was going to be an older girl in Monster World, and her name was actually going to be Mary. But like totally like ironic. And so her name was going to be Mary, a 12-year-old girl, and then I came along and I just came along initially. They were just sketching me, my dad's a storyboard artist, so they just needed a girl to draw. And they just kind of decided that it was going to, a 12-year-old girl who is able to speak and like comprehend would be really scared in this monster world. But, a young like toddler can be still curious and like excited. So, they shifted that, and like they obviously called her Boo, but I mean, technically her name was Mary. So yeah, and I like you said, her name, my name is on those drawings. So
you're a Disney princess. I mean, that's the way I look at it. You're a real live Disney princess.
Technically yes. But you're right. Like especially when you're like really really young, like a toddler age, you don't really have the concept of what really is scary, unless it's like a jump scare.
Because
you're more curious than scared, and
you don't know enough to be scared. And I can speak for this because my daughter right now, she's 3 years old. Her name is Nova, and we took her to Universal Studios. And I put her right next to two really scary things, and she just kind of looked up and like
she's like,
it wasn't scared. She doesn't know to be scared, there was a raptor, like a big raptor, and then Megatron, a Megatron. I've got pictures of her with both of those, and she's not scared. She's just curious. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no.
So that's awesome. So, I feel like a lot of people we've interviewed, you can say they're the voice of this character. But since I know Disney, they take lion cubs into their studio to study how the lions move. And they did kind of the same thing with you. They captured a wild animal. Your dad was lucky he had a wild animal take in from the jungle.
They just observed me.
Yeah, and they watched you.
National Geographic, they sit with like a camera. They just like follow me around with a microphone.
I feel like your mannerisms are probably, not only your voice, but your mannerisms are probably in the film, in this character. Right?
Yeah, like we said, or like I said originally, why I was brought in was just because they needed to see how a 3-year-old moves. And my dad brought me in and they would just sketch all my movement. So definitely Boo was me as a 3-year-old girl, essentially.
Well, let me ask you, because you were so young, what memories, if any, do you have of this whole experience?
So I was 2.5 to 3.5 when I was actually in the recording studio. And I mean, initially I just, being a kid in the recording studio, the foam walls, so sound doesn't bounce around. Or it does bounce around, I don't know. But either way.
It absorbs it. Yeah.
It absorbs it, there you go. So I was like rolling around on these foam walls, just loving it. Just that the walls were really soft. So, random memories like that. I remember like pretty much it's just me again playing around in the studio. So I like remember just playing games with all like the the staff and Pete Doctor, he would use a Cookie Monster puppet to talk to me, like try to feed lines to me, like, you know, what would you say if you lost your kitty? You know, Cookie Monster would say, and I'd say kitty, really sad. So, you know, I kind of remember bits and pieces like that. I do remember more. So I was 5 when the movie came out, and Billy Crystal walked me down the red carpet at the premiere, and like I remember being there, and I remember signing autographs because I just learned to write my name for the first time. So like takes me 10 minutes for every autograph. But yeah, so I like remember I have little bits and pieces, like flashes of, you know, random memories like that. But
Dude, that is so cool. I was
yeah.
was Pete